Hello and welcome to MusicWords. MusicWords is where we learn one new word in music each day, and today's big word is seventh chord. When you hear the word seventh chord, some of you wonder what makes a chord a seventh chord. The formula to find a seventh chord is to take the major triad first. The major triad is basically 1, 3, 5 of the major scale. And then to that we're going to add the seventh note of that scale. Let's try to apply this principle on C major scale. The notes of the C major scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Now look at the number under each note of the scale. Let's take a triad first. That is 1, 3, 5 of the scale. And then we're going to add the seventh note. So that forms a seventh chord. Now, if music stops right here, everything is going to be easy. But fortunately, music is bigger than what we think. So there are different kinds of seventh chords. Now, taking a major triad and adding the seventh note, we got what we call major seventh chord. There are many kinds of seventh chords, but today we're going to be discussing the 5 important seventh chords that you come across very frequently. The first one is major 7. As we already discussed this, taking a triad and adding the seventh note to it is the major 7. The second chord is the minor 7th. A minor 7th basically has a flattened third and a flattened 7th. That is, take a diatonic scale. A diatonic scale is, in other words, a major scale. Take 1, 3, 5, 7 of the scale and flatten the third and the 7th degree of the scale. The next chord is the dominant 7th chord. Now, normally dominant 7th chords are written like this. They just write the note and then they write the number 7. So anytime you see C7, it does not mean C major 7, it means C dominant 7. So to specify a major 7, you'll always find the MAJ written next to the note. But anytime you do not see that MAJ, you just see the number, then it means the dominant 7th. Now the dominant 7th is taking the major triad and then adding the flattened 7th to it. So that makes a dominant 7. The next chord we're going to be learning is called the diminished 7. Now the diminished 7 is made by taking the first, third, fifth and the 7th. Now there's a twist to what this is. To form the diminished 7th chord, we're going to take the first note, which is C, and then we're going to use a 3 flat. That is going to be an E flat, and then a 5 flat, which is a G flat, and then finally a 7 double flat. Now a 7 double flat is basically A, but we do not call it A. Theoretically, the right answer is B double flat. Now some of you wonder why we are not calling it A. That would make it very easy. The reason why we do not call it A is the 6th degree of the scale. So calling it A would make the chord a 6th chord, which is not right. So we specifically want a 7th chord, which is a B, all right? So we need to give a name which contains B in it, and that's why we call it a B double flat. And finally, for today, the last chord is what we call a half diminished 7. A half diminished 7 is when you take the first note, which is C, and flatten the third, which is E flat, flatten the fifth, which is a G flat, and then flatten the 7th, which is a B flat. So this is a half diminished 7. What differentiates between the half diminished 7 and the diminished 7 is the flattened 7. So if you have a double flat 7, then it's a diminished 7. If it's a single flat, then it's a half diminished 7. So that's about it, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.